Covenant is any relationship that is entered into by two parties. If you ever had a contract, you have entered into a covenant. If you are married, then you are in a covenant. These are called parity treaties by scholars of the Old Testament. And there are a number of these in the Old Testament itself. You see, two people can come together, they can swear oaths that they will abide by certain stipulations, and then if one party fails, then certain ramifications will happen. That's not what we're talking about, though, when we're talking about the biblical covenant. What we mean when we talk about the covenant between God and his people is what is known as a Suzerain-Vassal treaty. A Suzerain-Vassal treaty is between two unequal parties. In most cases, it involves a sovereign or a king and his people. And these are very actually formal things. A king would come and he would first name himself, I am the king of this land and over this territory. The covenant would then lay out what the king had done for his people, all the wonderful exploits, and then the king, being the king, would give certain obligations for loyalty to him. You will abide by my laws, you will trust me, you will do this, you will do that. The sovereign would then lay out covenant blessings and covenant curses. If you keep this, you will get a certain amount of blessing. If you do not obey, then there will be curses. The importance of knowing this is that this is how God approaches his people. The most obvious place is in Exodus 20, which is the giving of the Ten Commandments. God comes and he follows this pattern in a way that is very familiar to those in the ancient world. He says, I am the Lord your God, and then he lays out what he has done for the people of Israel. He has brought them out of the land of Egypt, and he has for them the promised land. God then gives his stipulations, which in this case are the Ten Commandments. And then as you read through the rest of the 5 books of Moses, in particular in Deuteronomy, all of this is played out very, very much the way we have said. Now, God enters into covenants with his people or with individuals in a number of key areas. With Noah, with Abraham, in this case with God's people through Moses. And all of this is implied that God is going to bless his people, and he requires loyalty from them. However, as anyone who has read the Old Testament knows, Israel doesn't always get on with doing this very well. They fail as often as they succeed. And so, by Jeremiah's time, the time of the prophets, they begin to look forward to a time when God will bring a new covenant to bear, one based on the suffering servant who is to come. And so in the New Testament, when Christ says that in him, in his ministry, and in his life, death, and resurrection, that he is now our king and our lawgiver, that he is the fulfillment of God's covenant, and that therefore faith in him is what is needed. All of this is wrapped up in the biblical idea of the covenant.